Hi everyone, it's lesson 27. Karen wants to share some of the learning takeaways from attending the session. There are two parts to our learning for lesson 27. One is actually to do compatibility check. The other one is actually to learn about Tai Sui activation. So compatibility check is more straightforward. We want to know whether there is a good match between two persons. It can be couple, it can be friends, it can be business partners. So more importantly is actually to make sure that both parties involved are willing parties, and also to run two different charts, one for asker and one for the other party. Make sure that you get their birth dates and also time of birth to run the chart, and don't forget to do time adjustment to get the real time to do the chart for better accuracy. Okay, so once you have the two charts being churned out, what you need to do to check compatibility is you actually plug the other party day stamp into the asker chart, and you want to see whether the elements are clashing, producing, or in harmony. When you actually plug the other party day stamp into the asker chart, the objective is actually for us to check what the asker think about the other party. Okay, once you have do this, go to the next step to check what the other party think about the asker. And how we do it, you need to do the plugging of the asker day stamp into the other party chart. And similarly, you need to see whether both are clashing, producing, or in harmony. So the key thing about doing compatibility check is actually you need to look at the comparison of the day stamps between asker and the other party, and plug it into each other's chart to see the relationship between the elements. So that is actually a very quick summary about what I have picked up when doing compatibility chart. The next part of the lesson is a little bit more complicated because we are introduced to do Tai Sui analysis. Because when Tai Sui analysis happen, it will somehow affect the interpretation because the energy level will be very different. Then if there is certain emptiness with the presence of the Tai Sui itself, then the emptiness will be filled. The energy level will be very different, right? So it also signifies certain level of importance for the person if let's say the emptiness is filled, right? So once we actually being able to identify the Tai Sui for the different palace, then we need to analyze the information and symbols and their interactions in the symbols itself. So long there is any emptiness filled, bear in mind that that year, be it whether it's positive event or negative event, it is going to be something very important and significant that is going to happen for the person. So like I said, when we actually check in on the Tai Sui activation, we can also check the annual luck of that person. Then you need to actually look at the symbols that are being activated and help the asker to identify what could possibly happen in that particular year for him or her. So do pay certain attention to symbols like partner, symbols like the problem star, because it will tell us about the health status of the person, the advisor, because it will help us tell about the academic ability. You also want to take note about the interactions with the open door, live door, because it talks about work, all right? It talks about career, it talks about possibly of business ventures. You also want to take note about injury door, because it will actually help us to look into whether askers is facing any potential injuries for the year. Of course, with the activation of Tai Sui to analyze the annual luck. You also want to look out for Wu, because that will tell us whether there is any money that is coming in for the person. So using the Qi app itself, it will actually help us very fast to identify the location of the Tai Sui, right? Then once you are able to analyze and check based on the few key symbols that we have discussed, you'll be able to actually see whether how the year will go by for that particular person. So that's what I have actually preliminary learned about Tai Sui activation. Hopefully for the next lesson we can go into the details to talk about how to analyze the Tai Sui. See you then.